Welcome to episode 15. This is a fun one. Kat's here today.
Hi.
Wow.
Tristan's gone. Tristan's not here.
Why?
I kicked him out.
Yeah. So we talk about public transit. And we talk about photography. Crazy stuff, right?
Photojournalism?
Yeah.
Photojournalism.
We talk
Some
about
iconic pictures.
brown cows produce chocolate milk.
They do.
Yeah. So there's a lot of fun stuff going
Don't
on.
listen to him.
Don't listen. I mean, do listen to the podcast.
It's worth watching
Keep listening.
and listening.
Listen.
Thanks.
Bye. I mean, hello. Welcome.
Go watch the podcast.
Go watch it. Watch it. What are you doing?
Welcome to TRIFLIX Cast.
Not tips.
This is where professional videographers and photographers talk about the latest business practices, techniques, and tech with a little bit of fun sprinkled in. Today, I am joined by a couple people. One, not so usual. To my left,
David Baker. I'm the efficiency in the office and the IT manager here at TRIFLIX.
yes. And to my right,
Hi.
Oh,
Kat.
what happened? Wow.
welcome back, Kat. Welcome back.
That's
And-
not
What do you do
Tristan.
around these
And
parts?
I do the social medias, and sometimes they let me edit stuff.
That's fantastic. We're glad to have you here. And I'm Cole. I'm the producer around these parts. Somehow, we run a media company out of Columbus, Indiana called TRIFLIX.
Yes.
And we're here for this time. Now, we're missing a person. We're missing Tristan today.
I know.
And there's a reason behind that. He had his child.
Well, technically, his wife had the child.
Correct.
He was
They
there.
were-
He was there.
They were pregnant and
He-
they
He,
had a
he
child.
witnessed it.
He witnessed the birth.
Yes, he
Yes.
did. Yes, he recounted that
Yep.
for me. So
Yep.
plopped
They
right
got
out.
it. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
That's the way you hope it happens. So, little Niko Watkins is
There we go.
here to stay. So, it's exciting
Yep.
stuff. I have not got to meet Niko yet, which
Nope, I haven't either.
is fine, I guess. I get it. You know, eventually.
He's withholding from us.
Yeah.
We wanted to have him as a guest, but he was like, oh, he doesn't want to meet you.
He said, "Oh, I gotta go take care of a baby."
Yeah.
Imagine.
So that's pretty
Who
lame.
knew babies needed to be taken care of?
But that's okay. I think it's going to be fun to switch things up and have Kat on. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk about a lot of photography stuff today.
Yay.
Oh boy, 2 photographers in a room.
I guess we could call you like an amateur photographer.
I'm not professional. I don't make money off my photography.
True.
Yeah,
True.
I know a little
I know
bit.
you dabble.
I've dabbled.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, maybe we'll find out what you've been dabbling in.
I
even
take
though-
the best photos on my iPhone.
Okay.
Okay, get out.
Yeah,
Go
you can
away.
leave. You can
I know
leave.
just enough to make you mad.
I have stories about that. We'll talk more about
There
it.
we go.
Okay,
got some.
so I have a news story, per
right.
usual. For those of you who maybe are first-time listeners,
Yay.
we like to
Ooh.
break the ice, start the night off with a little, or start whatever time
Start
of day
the-
it is for
start
you.
the
It's
cast.
nighttime for us, but starting it for you, we like to do a little news story. So,
There we go.
Cow Garden is my title today. Cow Garden.
Kat, you gotta have a first reaction on
Per
this.
usual, no way you're gonna guess it.
You have the insights, I
You
believe.
know, from UPI.com.
You.
I don't even know what that stands for. I just type in funny news.
Funny news. Is it like, you know how they have like those garden gnomes, but are they like cows?
Okay, so like a porcelain cow.
Yeah, like
gnome.
a bunch of porcelain
I think
cows.
they're plastic now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Which is kinda
throughout
lame.
the garden.
Okay, it's a good guess.
That's my.
Cow Garden.
David.
UPI. Cow Garden.
UPI is just the news
UPI.
website.
It's coming to me.
It's under the category of odd news.
Odd news. I'm going to
There's an ad.
guess.
There's an ad next to it. Somebody's putting whipped cream on their dog food. Top vet reveals the most important thing you can do for your dog.
Oh man, I
Sorry.
Let's go to that one instead.
I'm not clicking on the advertisement.
Fine. My guess then is that it's a wonderful pasture for cows. That it's like engineered to be like the best place. It's like heaven,
I thought you were
but
gonna
for
say where they
cows.
go to
The cow
die.
bovine. for the bovine creatures.
Yes, that's my guess.
I thought you were gonna say a wonderful pasture where cows can go to die.
Oh, even better. There you go.
Also
That can
known
be your
as
guess
the
instead.
meat packing factory.
What? No, it's not, is it? It's a meat packing?
No.
I was like, no. That would be a horrible name for a
would be.
meat packing factory.
I kind of like it. Cow garden.
You heard it here first.
Fourth.
Folks.
I
combined first and folks. You heard it here, folks.
Hear to hear, folks. This is going to be one
What do we
heck of
got?
a podcast. Okay.
What do we got?
You're both dead wrong. So in
Okay.
Stillwater, Oklahoma,
Okay.
a cow got loose and went to Olive Garden.
No.
It heard that it was unlimited
It hurt.
bread.
herd. It left the herd.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
Thank
That
you,
is
thank you.
awesome. They came for the salad and breadsticks. Isn't that why we all go?
But
It's grazing
really
over the
that
menu.
good.
Whoa.
What was that?
Whoa. Did you just say they're not even that good?
The
My-
breadsticks? You don't like the Olive Garden breadsticks?
My best Olive Garden experience was when we went to Olive Garden and they had run out of breadsticks.
Oh.
So they had gone to Fazoli's.
Oh my gosh.
And gotten
Oh.
breadsticks.
So now I get it.
Okay.
If you're going to give me the choice, like, I get it. I'd probably go with Fazoli's. But the only thing is like when you go to Olive Garden and like they do it right, which I get is not always the case. But when it has the right amount of the butter and the garlic salt and they cook them right, they don't overcook them, then it's the thing is like it is a higher quality product. You know, like when you have like the breadsticks at Fazoli's and you get them and it's drenched in like a gallon of butter. And then,
Isn't that what makes it good?
I mean, yes, but
That's where the flavor's at.
you ever
You
go?
can ask for them without butter
Really?
at Fazoli's.
You
yeah.
can also ask for extra butter.
Well,
Oh
I
my
have
God.
dipped
go
them
both
in
ways.
butter.
Which side of the spectrum are you guys on, audience?
More butter or none?
at all?
Or would you like to apply your own amount of butter?
Oh yeah, yeah. Get it on the side, and then you can just dip it in.
That's
Oh
what
my
that's what
God.
we always
Fresh
did.
amount of butter.
That's what we did. I'd love to tell you there was more to this news story, but there's
Yeah.
not. The cow got loose. The police came and got it from Olive Garden in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Wow. I don't even.
What a cow.
The fact that it managed to get near an Olive Garden.
I think that's
And
pretty
then
impressive.
go in-
Wait,
Inside.
I was gonna say, did it actually get?
It didn't go
in?
inside.
Oh, well, now we're just
Oh, now I'm
disappointed.
sufficiently less impressed.
Yeah.
Now he just needs to be turned into meat and consumed like a normal cow
There you go.
at Olive Garden.
I think it was a black and white cow, though. Aren't those the only milk cows?
I am
Isn't there a difference?
furthest from
No.
agriculture. I don't
thought
know
only.
anything
I
about that
thought
stuff.
only the. No.
No.
Well,
Cows,
enlighten us.
cows can be different colors.
Well, yeah, because
Well, I
the
know.
brown ones make the chocolate milk.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
as most Americans agree based on that one poll or whatever. They did a poll. They were like, does chocolate milk come from brown cows? And like 80% of Americans were like, yeah.
But if you're gonna ask me that question, I'm gonna say yes.
I was like,
know it's not a
oh,
fact.
Yeah,
no.
but I
But
don't
it's the
care. It's
funnest way to
hilarious.
say it.
Yes.
But okay, I went through a very weird phase I went through several weird phases as a kid. But one of them, I was doing
Color me
research
surprised.
for a book that I was writing.
Okay.
And I
Like
wanted...
you were writing a whole book?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Move your mic closer, please.
Oh, sorry.
I was trying to gesture, like, move it closer.
It's okay. It's our first time.
Closer. There you go.
And here, is this close enough?
Perfect.
And I wanted to learn like how you would go about milking a cow because I'd never milked a cow before, and
Okay.
this was set like out in the country, my story was or whatever.
Okay.
And so I
Makes
called
sense.
this lady who had cows, and I had like a whole phone conversation with her about like cows and how you milk cows. And
How did you know this lady?
I talked to a friend who I knew had a farm, but they
Okay.
didn't actually have cows. They raised other animals.
So this is like a cold call to ask about how to milk a cow.
and
Hi, my
and-
name's Kat, and I want to know how to milk a cow.
pretty much. And my friend
It's like,
connected
as a
me
kid,
to
yeah.
this lady, and she was like, "You can call her, and she'll, like, I'll warn her that you're calling her. And so I called and I was like,
That's awesome.
hi, I'm just going to take notes. And can you just tell me like what you do to milk a cow? And it was so funny because my mind was blown. She was like, you know, just like humans, to make milk, the cow has to have had a baby. And
Yes.
I don't know why my mind was so blown by that as like a
Right,
10-year-old
like,
or
no,
whatever.
it's just cow grows up, cow make milk.
Cow just makes milk. And I was like, oh wow, that's fascinating. I was fascinated. And then she talked about like all of the details. Somewhere in my house are all of these notes that I took on how to milk a cow. Like I could probably figure it out if I had the notes.
We should informative
How to
videos from
how to milk a
TRIFLIX.
cow.
Did you know TRIFLIX tips? How to milk a cow.
We just sprinkle one weird one in every once in a while.
Tristan can do more of his animations for that one.
I don't trust Tristan to draw an udder.
No. You know, like that's like one of the biggest things that like kids animations like shows get wrong is like
The way an
male
udder
cows.
looks.
No, male cows like have udders sometimes. Like, did
Like,
you see like the
no.
movie like Barnyard? I think the main character,
Yes. Now
the
you're
main cow is supposed to be a guy, but he has udders.
But he has an udder.
Maybe they're not udders.
Maybe.
Oh
I
no.
Don't cows have two stomachs?
Yeah, it's a stomach. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, canon that they addressed it in one episode of Barnyard. Explained it.
That's the backstory of how Mr. Cow got udders.
Yep.
Maybe they didn't know. Maybe this, again, they thought like all cows have udders, all cows make milk.
I feel like sometimes people make children TV shows just try to see how much they get away with or can get away with.
Yeah.
Like,
But I also think it might be weird I don't know. I mean, especially for kids, like they might expect a cow to have udders.
yeah,
so
like,
they were just
that's
like,
a cow because it has the
Yeah.
udders.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's black and white.
yeah.
And it has
Yeah.
udders.
Yeah. What else is a cow?
I was gonna say because technically a cow is like the female and the guy's called the bull.
Yeah, see,
The
kids
bull, yeah.
wouldn't
So-
even know that.
No, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Right. It just so much misinformation in kids shows.
So
So
much
disappointed.
misinformation. Someone
So
needs to
disappointed.
fact check these
Yeah.
kid shows. I'm telling you,
You know, I
they're
saw
feeding these kids just
misinformation.
bull.
Where's InfoWars but for children's shows? I did see.
You could do
I
that.
saw a band episode of Dexter's Laboratory just today.
Oh, okay. I was like, where they played music, and I was like, oh, I got
No.
you.
It's
Two ends.
because like every like 90s cartoon had like the one episode where like what if like everybody was cursing, because like SpongeBob had like the one where like every time they said like a cuss word it would be like dolphins.
Yeah.
And Dexter's Lab did one.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
They did one where like Dexter took all the rudeness out of him and his sister and it just put it in like a different person, or they made like clones of them, but like they were only the rude parts of them, and they ran around just like cussing at each other, and it just beeped the whole time. So it was just like,
Dang. But it was
like,
banned.
Beep, yeah, it aired like once, and then it got banned.
Oh, gotcha.
Back
So
when
somebody
you could air
complained.
something
Oh my
before
gosh.
it was decided it shouldn't be seen.
Interesting. Where'd you see it?
It's uploaded to YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah.
Go to YouTube.
Of
Check
course
it
it
out.
I'll try to find it. We can put it in the show notes or
Thank
something.
you, YouTube, for preserving history.
Except for all the stupid crap you do, YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
what
can
is...
talk about that.
Let's talk about it. What's the most
like
recent
the
stupid crap?
thumbnails?
Yes.
On shorts.
Do you know what was it?
The thumbnails on shorts.
Oh, that's one of them.
Okay, so if they
That's-
don't know what a short is, what's a short?
So everything's trying to be TikTok now.
Yes.
Literally.
Correct.
And so YouTube Shorts, first of all, it can only be exactly 59 seconds, or it
What?
does not.
Really?
It does not upload vertically as a short. It just like uploads vertically, but as like a normal YouTube video. So then it's just vertical. But it's
ridiculous.
It's very, very annoying.
It is... YouTube Shorts is the only vertical content that is limited to 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, were you also telling me that even if you're uploading it as a normal video, if it's below that time code or whatever, like if it's shorter than a minute and it's vertical, it just automatically makes it a short. Like, and you
Yes,
can't
right?
control that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, so it
So weird.
decides.
So anything 59 seconds and under, because we've had something that was exactly a minute and it wouldn't upload as a short. And
Even at like 59.90.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
poor Daniel had to go back in there and like trim off that second.
Take a little knife.
It's
Like
ridiculous.
paper thin cheese. Yeah.
And then, right when we figured out the thumbnails for the YouTube shorts, they took them away from us.
Which it was still
Yeah.
jank to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's like you can upload a thumbnail, but the thumbnail only shows in horizontal format, which was
Yeah.
usually only seen in playlists. So
Yeah.
if you made a playlist of shorts and you looked at it on your desktop, you saw the thumbnails.
Yeah.
So we were like, hey, we're a professional media company. Like, let's make,
We should have thumbnails.
we should have thumbnails and they should look nice.
First, we were making them vertical because we were like vertical content, vertical thumbnail, and we had already
Yeah.
made vertical thumbnails for reels. And then we were like, wait, no, they have to be horizontal. And then, like, literally, like 2 weeks after we figured that out, I went to upload something and I was like, so does it also say that you can't put a thumbnail in here on yours too? Like, is it just
Yeah.
me? Am I the problem?
Yeah, I think the
It was
error,
not just me.
I think the error message says specifically like this
Like, thumbnails not available at this time
yeah,
or something
it's
like that.
temporary unavailable.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, so then I was going to go back and remove this because we're continually uploading to this series of shorts. And so we went to go back and pull the thumbnails and you can't even do that. So I have 11 episodes
With
or
pretty
11
thumbnails.
with pretty thumbnails that I spent time designing.
Yeah.
And then everything past that is now just the shorts, which is black bars on left and right, and they pick the thumbnail. So like they
Yeah.
pick the frame from the video for
I wonder
you.
if we can experiment with this. Like upload a video slightly too long, and I think you can trim them in like the YouTube editor. I wonder if you make it shorter than a minute, if it automatically becomes a short.
I don't know. I see what you're saying though, because like
Yeah.
it's
Then
already.
you can put a thumbnail on it
And then
when
it would
it's
be
too
just
long,
stuck.
and then trim it down
Yeah.
to become a short.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
I almost wonder
Sounds
if
like a
like
fun
while
thing to
it's
try
like
out.
uploading, while it's loading, while the thumbnail thing is still there, if you could click it real fast and put
Just be real fast. Like a
put it in.
Before it knows whether it's a
sleight
short
of hand. It's just trying to think about it.
Well, we could
Yeah.
try that. But
Man. Yeah.
yeah, no, I think we talked about it on Monday that the only way to do it is if you upload your short from an Android device, then
Oh,
you
yeah.
can pick a thumbnail.
Yeah.
And
Which,
Kat's
ironically,
iPhone.
I just switched to
Yep.
iPhone because I got a MacBook and I was like, I really want to be able to airdrop stuff.
Yes,
Yep.
that's why I did it. So Kat's iPhone. I've been iPhone for a little over a year.
Yep.
David switched as well.
Mine's almost
You were
2
before
years
me,
now because
yeah.
I have a 12.
Yeah.
We're about to come out with the 14s this
15.
year. Or is it 15, really?
Yeah, they just 14s have been out.
I'm
I'm not-
hoping for USB-C.
Yeah, I'm not upgrading until USB-C comes
Yeah,
out.
that's why I didn't. It was like the
Yeah.
notch is barely smaller, and like the only reason I would
It's
want
an
to get a new
island.
phone is an island.
Are you gonna
Only
get
on
a
the
Pro?
Pros. If it has USB-C, I feel like if they're gonna do USB-C, it's only going to be on the Pros, and I'm afraid.
Oh,
they
you know what
might-
my theory is?
I'm afraid they're going to make the regular ones wireless only charging.
See, I think it's going to be the other
Oh.
way
I think
around.
it's going to be the other way.
I think they'll make the lower ends USB-C, and then they'll take the Pros and the Pro Maxes and stuff, and those will be wireless.
That's even worse though,
Yeah.
But if they,
because they have the ProRes. And so
Right.
it'd take even longer to take off the footage.
but if they can upgrade AirDrop, if they
Yeah.
can just upgrade that to like AirDrop 2.0,
Mm-hmm.
and it
Oh.
has faster speeds, then it would be fine because AirDrop already is faster
Yeah.
than the USB 2 speeds that you get through Lightning.
You know, Apple was working on lending MagSafe to the new Qi standard,
They're
which is like
doing
the
it.
open standard. I wonder if Apple is going to make, again, like their own thing for wireless and also have it like data transfer through the MagSafe.
Oh, I see. So then when you make the contact with the pad, then you
Yeah.
should be able to also do data transfer.
I wonder if they're going to do something like that.
I honestly don't care
Yeah.
as long as... No, I'm just saying, like... I could tell you this. The only time I use my port for anything is CarPlay.
Yeah.
That's it. To plug it
you
into
know,
my car.
Your car doesn't have wireless CarPlay.
Well, no. I mean, most of them barely did even, because mine's a 2018 and like
Yeah.
even into the 2020s, like...
And you'd rather have it charging anyway, because like if
For
it's going to
sure.
be plugged
Yeah.
in, you're probably doing like GPS that's going to drain your battery or
Yeah.
music or
It
whatever.
saves my day, to be honest with you, because it's like I don't have to touch a charger because it's plugged in my car, and I spend so much time in my car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. So I mean,
Oh.
but it's also really nice. Have you guys ever been in a car with wireless?
No.
CarPlay? It's literally, I mean, it connects over, it's a Wi-Fi connection. And once you set it up the first time, like you turn the car on and you sit in it and it connects to your CarPlay. So like your CarPlay just pops up.
Yeah.
Which is super convenient.
Ooh, I think the van that we rented for our cute little 2-week stint out west, I think that had wireless CarPlay. I think it did.
Super convenient.
Because, yeah, that was before I had an iPhone, but someone else that we were with had one, and her phone just like always popped up, and I don't think we were plugging it in, so I think it had to have it. But yeah, it was really nice.
You know, like,
it's good to have.
Probably 7 years down the road, when most modern cars have like the new CarPlay where it takes over like the dash and everything. If you don't think it's gonna catch on,
I don't know.
It looks really cool.
It looks fantastic, but the problem is like that's a big thing for auto manufacturers to give up. It's smart, I think, for them too, but
half the time they make such crappy stuff for it anyway. I mean, my Honda one has like a digital display for the dash instead of like, I'd rather actually have physical dials.
Yeah, I would rather have
because I don't
buttons.
like the idea of like, what if the computer just randomly dies and you just can't see how fast you're going or any of the statuses.
I don't know. I love my screen.
I mean,
plus, like, I don't like so.
You get so much more information.
Yeah. So I have a 2010 Ford Flex, and my mom has, I think it's in 17 or 18. So we have like the old Flex and the bougie Flex.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because you get in them and it's like they're almost the same, but they're not the same. And it's like
it's that subtle stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Twilight Zone. Every time you get in the bougie Flex,
like,
I'm like, wait. But so she has a screen, and it's so annoying though, because there's so many things that you can't hit buttons for, and since I don't drive it a lot, I'll be like driving down the road and I'm like, I need to fix this, and I'm like, but I don't want to look at the screen. Like, I wish there was a button, like an actual button, because like I have all the buttons in my old Flex memorized, and I don't have to look at stuff.
Yeah, so that's probably the actual thing.
It's a big problem.
The only, if I could have one feature request for a car, it's just like physical buttons for all the controls. I hate using a touchscreen in my car. It's like, because I don't want to be driving and then just like be trying to just remember on a flat screen where a button is.
This I'm completely with you on. You know this. The Germans did it right the first time, and it's stupid they got rid of it because if you probably haven't used one, I'm just assuming. They used to put the dials in the center. And so it's like you have a dial that can rotate. You press it in to make selections, and then you can also click left, right, up, and down if you want to. But then there's a back button and a menu button, and it's like I can navigate all the things that I need, which I have physical climate change buttons, which I think should always be physical.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like half of the stuff in the bougie Flex for like seat heat and stuff, like you have to do it on the screen, and I'm like, but I want to put in the GPS,
and the screens are always a stupid janky mess that like you press the button and then it thinks about it and then it does it. It's like
technology's great until it's not.
But like that was the big, and again I say the Germans had it figured out, because it's like they have decided to take away, like the new version of my car looks the exact same on the inside, but they made the screen bigger and they made it a touch screen, and then they eventually get rid of the dial. And it's like
they're copying Tesla basically.
I mean, to a certain degree. I mean, there's been touchscreen, cars like that where they've moved a lot of this stuff over for a long time. They've been trying to push into that, but it was just like to be able, because literally it's like the dial's right in front of my gear shift, so your arm rests on the gear shift, and then you can just use the dial, and it's like your clicks, what you need, everything's where it needs to be, and it's like, why did that ever need to change?
It's like having a manual car but having to change the gears at the touchscreen.
Yes. But don't get me started on
which nobody would ever want.
Now it's like in a car, it's like drive is like a button and park is like a lever.
Ew.
And then you have to like twist a knob to put it in reverse. It's like it has like a whole strip of like things.
Engineers are bored.
Yes.
And they're just like, they're trying to find something for these guys to do so they can be paid.
But then you have Tesla, where the new cars guess what gear you want to be in.
I've always wondered how like the drivetrain and all that stuff, like will we ever have manual electric cars? Is that a thing that can even exist?
They're gonna do it. Yeah. I mean, it serves no purpose other than for enjoyment of driving and like having that physical connection with your machine, but like it serves absolutely zero purpose. Like
Okay.
Dodge is going to do it. They're
Yeah.
going to have an E transmission or whatever they call it, and it simulates shifting gears in your car. But it's like, why?
Yeah.
100% of the torque is available throughout the whole acceleration curve. So it's
Yeah.
like, why do you need that?
I don't know.
For funsies.
Well,
Do you know
it's-
how to drive manual,
they're
Cat?
easing us in.
A little bit,
A
yeah.
little bit. I haven't
I've-
driven at all.
I've done it before.
Sorry.
I know.
There's a photo of it. There's photographic evidence of me doing it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I never stalled the car. My brother stalled the car once and then
nice.
figured it out. But it was really funny because my uncle was teaching us, and the whole time he was like, "You're going too fast. You can't go this fast. Like, you haven't done it before." I'm like, "I'm going like 25.
Leave me alone.
I can do it."
He's like, whoa!
Just let me
stop!
do it. Which
You're
is
out of
funny
control.
because like my mom and all of her siblings, like they get onto us so bad for driving so fast, but they all have lead feet. Like it cracks me up. And they're like, "Well, we have like 50 years of experience." And I'm like, "Yes, but where do you think we get it from? Like we're fighting it
Yeah.
constantly."
Yep.
And we get it from you.
It's
You
all
know,
your
That's the
fault.
opposite of what you want for helicopter pilots.
Ooh.
What do you mean?
New pilots for helicopters are less likely to crash than older ones.
Why is that?
Because when they're like right out of school, they're like constantly thinking about everything that can go wrong, and so
Oh,
like
yeah.
triple checking everything.
Yeah.
And all the older pilots start to relax and
You
they
get
don't check
complacent.
You get
things.
comfy.
Yeah, and like in helicopters, if you get complacent, like you can just. That's what happened with Kobe Bryant.
He got
Is-
complacent.
He didn't. His
They struck
pilot
him
did.
down.
They flew into a cloud. It was like, oh, I got this.
Yeah, I can fly through a cloud. Who needs visibility, man?
I know where I'm going. Got GPS.
Good to go.
Got the
It's
Google.
all gonna fly and drive itself.
Got
At
the
some
Google
point, there's
Maps
gonna
on
be a
the
generation who
GPS.
doesn't even know how to operate machinery.
The self-driving cars, man. Just punch it in.
I'm not
Apple.
gonna lie. Some days it sounds nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, wait a second. So you're like, technically, if I had like an hour drive in between a shoot, I could pretty much edit a shoot in between.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, like 7 to 10 years from now, it's probably going to be legal to be in a car, to own a car, and also just get in a car and just tell it where to go, and like you don't need a driver's
And
license.
just chill. Well,
It'd be cool.
that's really funny because more and more of like the self-driving cars and stuff, it makes me think like, will we get to a point where we'll just get to like going back to like public transportation again? Because
No, I get it.
when I went to Europe over the summer, our tour guide was like, "So how does like everyone have a car? Like why is that a thing?" And
Because I hate people.
Yeah.
yeah, but it was really funny
Yeah.
because I started thinking, and I was like, if I had like a longer commute to work and I like, took a train or a bus or whatever, I would have like an hour
Yeah.
that I could like, edit something or read a book or like, crochet. I don't know, but it's
That's what I would do.
It's like
But-
there is like pretty big advantages to having like public transport. Like think about like stadiums. You have to have massive parking lots or garages just so people can drive there.
Yeah.
yeah.
And like you go over in Europe and you see the stadiums, there's just no parking lots because everybody can get to it with public transit. And then like you see an aerial photo of like one of the biggest ones in like Florida or Georgia, and it's like 80% parking lot, 20% the stadium. It's like, wow, we're just wasting all that land.
So,
Yeah.
Kat, do you have experience using public transport overseas?
yeah.
So, my question is like, is it clean?
For the most part,
And look,
yeah,
the
like
reason
it
I'm
wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be.
Because I asked the question, and this isn't just like, oh, buses are dirty. You know what I mean? Like, that's not
Yeah.
I'm not giving into the cliche of this, but like, the thing is like any time that you have a lot of people in these spaces, and whether that is the bathrooms at stadiums or, you know what I mean?
The trunks.
Yeah.
Or just like public bathrooms in general. Anytime that you have a large amount of people coming in and out of a space, especially a smaller space, a lot of times,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it just tends to be dirty and no one wants to clean, and it's just one of those things. So I think that's my only
Yeah.
concern about going to
I'm
a
laughing
mass
because
transit.
I know that you would know. Like you'd go on a train or something like, I don't like this.
It's-
Nope.
Dude, the planes when we
Yeah.
went on our trips, like they're not bad, but it's still like I'm sandwiched in between two people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Yep.
like I don't know if you showered. I don't know if you're clean. Like, and it's I don't know. It's just
like
it's the thought of it all.
Planes are definitely a different vibe because like you're like stuck in there for a couple hours, whereas like the underground and in London and the metro in Paris, like super busy times a day, you're going to be clustered in there with a bunch of people, but they're getting on and off constantly, and like people really do keep to themselves. Like if they're with like a little group of people, you have like a little cluster over here, and if like just everyone, and like you chill in your spot, like everyone is so aware of like really keeping to their own little bubble. Like it surprised me. Like
Gotcha.
no one is like taking up your space, which is very interesting because I feel like Americans also like just take up way more space than they need to sometimes.
For sure.
But
well, and I don't know if I could. It would take me a while to get used to like being on public transit and not like striking up a conversation. Now I know that that's limited to a certain amount of people.
Yeah.
That was like when we were on the train or the tram, whatever you call it, in the Colorado airport. Tristan and I were, and it's like you say things and you laugh, and it's like somebody else hears you, and then they laugh, and it's like it's a public experience, right, for everybody. And I'm sure that probably, with time, everybody's kind of like, oh, I'm trying to get to work. I really don't care about what you're doing.
Yeah, like I don't think they're like totally anti it for sure, but because like but people like kind of stick to their little group and they chill, and then they get to their stop and they get off the train, and then there's like 6 more seats available, and you like scoot over and spread out some more. So it's a lot of fun. And the more like in London, the busier areas, like the more in the city you are, like those ones are a little more dirty. But then the further out of town you go, like number one, they get cleaner because there's less use, but also they're just so much more spacious, and it's really fun. Like we got a little lost one day, so we spent a lot of time in the underground, but it was so much fun. I wasn't even that mad because I just enjoyed it so much because it was such a different experience. And then like in the metro in France, they have a lot of double-decker trains. Like they have actual trains on some of the metros. Like, and those are fun because then you get to, go up and sit on the double-decker train. And I actually took a double-decker train from, I don't know where we went to, but we drove a little ways, and then we took the train from wherever we were to the state fair in Indy once. And that was so much fun because we just had like an hour and a half to chill on the train and, do whatever. And
And now, a quick break to hear from our sponsors. Coffee House 5. With locations in Franklin and Greenwood and soon a third in Bargersville, Coffee House 5 is Johnson County's premier independent coffee shop to relax, study, or meet friends around great coffee and great food Monday through Saturday. Whether it's a handcrafted espresso or a single origin pour-over, you'll enjoy the freshest, smoothest coffee possible roasted in-house at their Franklin location using a unique airbed roasting process. And don't forget to pair your coffee with a ham and cheddar scone, biscuits and gravy made with their award-winning Parmesan chive biscuit, or any of their other pastries and sandwiches prepared in their Franklin kitchen using family recipes in a style they call Midwest comfort food. As if that's not enough to get your attention, Coffee House 5 is a for-benefit coffee house. All profits are invested in building a stronger community through their support of local mental health services, which you can read more about on their website, coffeehouse5.com. So next time you're in Franklin or Greenwood, and soon Bargersville, stop by Coffee House 5.
Yeah.
I definitely see the appeal of that, being able to fill your time with something other than you're just like sitting and mindless. I mean, not mindlessly, but you know what I mean. You're just kind of like, I'm completing a task. I'm driving from point A to point B, and I cannot accomplish anything else in that time.
I know travel over there is like in England is also really different because like you got to go an hour up north to go do something, like go up to Indy. Yeah. Like that's like a whole trip you got to plan to them. Because like they're so small over there. It was like, why wouldn't you just do that today? It's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, you go like an hour in the UK and you're like way up north.
Well, Indiana also, I know, is not like the shining example of public transit.
Not at all.
No.
Not even close.
We have like one train that goes through like the entire state, maybe two. They're not useful at all for
something like that.
anything important.
Just got bus lanes like 2 years ago.
And bike lanes that are terrible. And
When the problem is that no one understands.
Or no one uses them.
yeah, no one uses them. And like they're also just randomly throughout our city. They're not even like connected half the time. And so it's like
which is why no one uses them.
half of like only one road.
That's what the Monon's for. Stay off my road. No.
Yeah.
But
It's
then
like
again, I also
technically illegal to ride a bike on a sidewalk.
I
not supposed
think
to do
so.
Yeah, I think
But I do it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's that fine. No one really knows what you're supposed to do, right?
No, 'cause
you're
it's so bad.
Here, but then if you ride in the street, which is kind of where they want you to be, then people also don't understand that, like, you also have to abide, like. Everybody is like yielding to each other, and we all share the space. It's not because you have your vehicle's bigger than mine that you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Sometimes bikers just blast through stop signs too. It's really fun.
I saw it the other day, and I was like, "Wait a second! I'm pretty sure that the laws of the road also apply."
Yeah, I used to bike to piano lessons when I was a teenager, and I was like just biking back down the road down Rocky Ford, and like a semi. I don't know why this semi was going down Rocky Ford, but it just like, passed me, and I was like, that was the most terrifying experience.
Oh gosh.
Bike versus semi. I was like, I'm dead. I'm so dead.
I swear sometimes semi drivers just get confused and they drive on like the tiniest roads downtown. It's like, you're not supposed to be here.
Oh yeah,
you are
You're gonna
so
get
lost.
stuck.
You got stuck looking at Google Maps for too long, didn't realize that you were a semi.
Back to the bike thing. Have you guys ever watched like those speed runs where those guys in like New York and stuff, like they're like messengers or or they're just like super into like riding around in the city.
Oh,
and like they can go
fast they can get to point A to point B.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're just like, you should check it out because I think you would get a kick out of this. But it's literally, it's like, I'm gonna get from start to finish without ever stopping and just going as fast as I possibly can, and it's impressive.
Is it like a preset route? This is like the thing that multiple people have tried to do?
No, it's just like they have to get from one point to the other, and however fast as they can do it, whether it's alleys, sidewalks, streets, like they're just like blowing through. And of course in like New York City, like people are very used to alternate means of transportation, so most pedestrians understand how this works, so I'm sure that helps, but it's super impressive. I mean, they were talking crowded streets, and they're just like weaving in and out of cars and like going through lights and just getting where they need to go. And that's a lot of times I think they use, like, there are the messenger services where these guys ride these bikes and they like bring food and do things like that, and it's so much faster and more efficient than having somebody do it by car.
Yeah.
Especially in a major city like that. But they're very talented.
I've seen like urban exploration or like parkour where people are just climbing like giant cranes or like buildings that are like half finished and stuff.
I knew some guys that did that here.
Really?
Yeah. Like they'd go up on top of like, I don't know. I mean, places you definitely shouldn't be.
Like even just like from a filmmaking standpoint, like the fact that you're doing it, but also like you're filming yourself at the same time, that just like, that's another element of something on my mind I don't want to be thinking about, like 500 feet up in the air.
I get it. And a lot of times they would get from where their starting destination and then where they would want to be. I mean, it's illegal. I mean, it just is.
That's the other thing. It's illegal.
It's illegal. But then they would go and they were photographers and they would go and they would shoot from those spots. And the shots were beautiful and cool. And of course, eventually it was like, it's all about like, where can you dangle your feet off of? And
getting the feet shot.
Yes. But they were always great shots. I mean, they're professionals, so it was really cool. But I know some of them did get in trouble because it's like when you take a picture, you post it. You know what I mean? You're like, look what I did. And it's like, wow.
This was AI. I wasn't really here.
Yeah, I never made it up here.
It was a friend sent me this picture.
But I'm not a big heights person, but I wanted to do it pretty bad back in the day. I never had the guts to like hit these guys up and go do it. Yeah. Because I had a family very early on, and I was like, it's probably not something a husband and a father should be going to do.
I don't hate these type of things, but like at the same time, it encourages people like the type of people that are going to come along and then ruin it because they're going to like accidentally destroy something because they're being careless, or they're going to get themselves hurt.
That's anything.
Then, yeah.
I mean, it's like
on
like
top
the
of it already
scooters.
being like illegal to do though. That's
Yeah.
like,
Well, I get
it's
it.
already like, now you're going to have like police trying to really figure out like, make people not to do it because like you're going to get hurt. We have proof you get hurt, blah, blah, blah. So
It's like graffiti, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's illegal, right?
Yep.
But there are large factions of people that go and do these things, and I mean, I think it's a very cool art form, but it's like it's
Right.
illegal.
Yeah.
But there's always those people, right? That get in and then they post something, or a lot of these guys will actually put face coverings on
Right.
when they
Right.
create media. So
Yeah.
which is. And go under a pseudonym, you know, it's like, which makes sense.
Yep.
But then there's the guys that are like, oh, look what I did.
Yeah, I saw a video of I'm pretty sure it's like two teenagers had no idea really what they're doing. They snuck on I don't really think it was supposedly Jeff Bezos's yacht, and they like recorded themselves exploring
Whoa.
it, but they didn't have masks on and things. Like, good job, guys.
And
You're
gonna
That's-
get
You're minors
Smart.
doing something illegal, and you recorded yourself doing it. You just destroyed the rest of your life.
yeah, right. Kind of
Yeah.
cool
But
though.
it was kind of cool.
But I think
yeah.
I know we haven't talked much about photography, so we'll jump
Oh,
into it.
there
But
we go.
I think
It's like, what does our company do again?
Yeah.
that's okay. I mean, we're just having a
Public
fun
transport.
discussion.
Yeah.
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 But no, I always thought like I've always been interested in the idea of going and doing urban exploration photography type stuff. I don't know. It's been one of those things that's always been on my mind that I've really wanted to do because I like the candid stuff, and I dig. I really like landscapes and things like that. So I mean, like, I think that both shooting urban, you know, exploration shots or just urban shots and landscapes, I think they go hand in hand, right? Because it's both, you know, you're still shooting a still subject, right? It's something that doesn't move. It doesn't have a lot of dynamic elements to it, so you have to play with your surroundings to be able to make a dynamic shot.
Yeah.
And especially shooting at night is a whole other experience.
Or at golden
Night
hour,
photos
sunset. Yeah.
Night photos,
it's a vibe.
every time it rains at night, I'm like, I should go take night photos. I took my brother to do it once.
Let's go
Okay.
then. Like, I think we need to like do it. I've been such a proponent of this,
and film a video.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, I've been a proponent of this, and it's just finding, like, it's just having everybody get together and like do it. Because even one night, like, you go out for 2 or 3 hours, like, you're going to create so much media.
Yeah.
And not only that, I think it's a great opportunity to practice. Just putting your skills to the test and being like, oh, maybe I can get that shot. Because we can all conceptualize in our head like a shot that we would like to get, but like taking the time and going and shooting it, I think sometimes is the difference.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get complacent.
No,
So
Tristan tried to do something a while back. I think it was I feel like it was before COVID, where he wanted to go out to a national park and went up one of the fire towers.
Yeah.
And I think he like forgot an SD card or a battery or something. And like he missed the shot and he
That's what I
couldn't
would
get
do.
it. But he still like turned it. I think it's on YouTube. I think it's on our TRIFLIX films.
we need to, that would be fun. We should do that.
But it was that very same idea where you go out and you just choose a location and you wait for the right time. 2 a.m. whatever.
Yeah. I have some shots from one of the fire towers at Brown County.
Oh, nice.
It's during the day, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I struggled a little bit with that one.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not a heights person.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things, like the two inner voices are like, yo, do anything for the shot. And it's also
Yeah.
like, you hate heights.
Anything with like landscapes, like mountains, and like people getting like beautiful shots out there, especially like sunset or sunrise, like anything with the
Golden
sun on a giant face of a mountain. It's like
See,
beautiful.
It's so funny because when I was taking my first photography class, our first ever assignment was landscapes. And that was at the time where I was like, I only take pictures of people. I'm a portrait photographer.
I don't
This
take
is all I
pictures of
do.
grass,
And
of land.
and it was so funny.
Stupid rocks.
It was so pretty much. I was like, I hate this assignment. It's stupid. And then I went out and I actually like put forth effort and I went to a little place because I was in Tennessee, so it's really pretty there.
Oh, yeah.
And so I
There you
put
go.
forth effort, and my friend and I went out and I took something, and this was on film.
I figured.
And somehow this was like, you know, the third roll of film I'd ever shot, and I did something wrong. And I was on like photo 42, and I was like, I only have like 24 exposures on this roll of film. Something's wrong here. And so the film had like, you know, gone around once and then like accidentally popped off the thing. So I had no photos. So I was like, crap.
Dang.
So then because that roll of film was due in class that day. When you're an art major and you have a roll of film, do it too. But so then I ran around campus getting shots, which we were specifically asked, do not do your landscape stuff on campus. Like, we don't want to see campus.
Go somewhere else.
Go somewhere. Do something.
Yeah, go away.
And I did it all on campus, and I developed the photos. I printed them. I went through critique. I got like, you know, I waited until my grade got put in, and then like a week later I was like, by the way, I shot all of those on campus. And Adam, who was the TA at the time, he was a senior then, and the professor were like so mad at themselves. They were like, how did we not realize any of these were on campus?
Wow.
So I was like, maybe I don't hate the nature assignment so much after all.
Maybe you know what you're doing. Yeah.
That's bold of you to tell them that it wasn't.
I know. I can't believe you confessed to it, man. I would have kept that.
Well, I made sure my grade was in it, and I took a screenshot of it. So I was like, if they decide to like change it because they found out it's on campus, I'm gonna be like, you already put my grade in. So, but it was really funny. And
dang, look at you.
They can change it if they want. It's a long process and paperwork. They'll do it, but
it's really funny.
If they really didn't like
she
you.
had an in.
Yeah,
she's like, Adam, you changed
if
my
that
grade. I
professor
swear.
didn't like you, they would have done it 100%.
Yeah, I would have held that close.
Well, it was really funny because I was taking an online class once, and I didn't realize that I had technically like done something wrong. I thought I had done it right, and I didn't feel like that was reflected in my grade. And so I emailed him, and I was like, hey, I did this, this, and this. I followed the instructions. I did it right. You know, please reflect that in my grade. And he was like, well, actually, you know, in the instructions, it says to like wait a day before you post the other thing so that more people have time to post or whatever. And he was like, but I'm going to go ahead and, you know, put your grade back up to wherever. Like, I'll give you all the points. I did it wrong, and I still got all my points back.
Man, I had a couple professors.
Helps when you date a TA.
Hey, I wasn't dating him then.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
He was married.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. He was. We didn't talk about that though, did we?
I don't remember this. Did he talk about it that day?
Sorry, Adam. I'm telling your life story.
I think you might have mentioned it though. I thought you two. No, you mentioned something about divorce. But
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember having that conversation with him.
I don't think it lasted very long.
And usually try not to let those last very long. So we won't get into it, bud.
Yeah. But I had a professor who was like notorious for like being really strict on grading and things. And on like my first couple of writing assignments with him, or like it was like the most boring stuff ever. It was about like ethics. You know, who cares about that stuff?
Freaking ethics.
But I tried like so hard on the writing assignments, and he would like give me like stupid grades like at 75 or an 80, and I was like, I tried so hard on this, and so I was like, I just don't care anymore. And I just started minimal effort, and he started giving me better grades. I was like, this is so stupid.
Oh my gosh,
college is such a joke sometimes.
Yeah,
I
had another professor who, it was a photojournalism class, so I like pitched my idea for the photojournalism assignment, and I thought it was really good, and he was like, okay, I also want you to like add this so that there's more or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. So I did that, and I gave him the first draft, and he gave me some notes, and I was like, okay. And so then I did, you know, the second draft, took some more pictures, and then he gave me back notes, and they were like completely contradictory to like the original notes that he had given me. And this was an online class too, so I was like, you can go back and read your notes, like. And I emailed him, and I was basically like, I took quote for quote. I was like, you said do this, so I did this. And then when I turned that in, you said, why did you do this? That's because you said
told me to.
And so I was basically like, you know what? Honestly, I'm just really confused, and I don't know what you want anymore. And I got an apology back from this man. He was like, I am so sorry. Just please, like, just do whatever you want. And
wow.
I was like, oh,
man,
okay.
I'm sure you were popular amongst the professors. Wow. They were like, that cat chick. Oh,
what is It's going to sound stupid. What is photojournalism?
Photojournalism
What makes it? Yeah.
You
is
journal with photos.
so much fun. I love photojournalism. Like if I had discovered photojournalism like at the start of college, I probably would have gotten a degree in photojournalism.
Okay.
But basically, I'm trying to think of like a famous photojournalist that I would have learned about.
Well, if you
All
don't,
of the names are gone.
if you don't mind me cutting in and maybe just taking a stab at this,
Okay.
not classically trained.
Yes.
Far from it.
Yes. There was a movie. There was a movie recently, and it was about as Zac Efron was the main character, and he packed up a bunch of beers and took him. Yeah.
That I want to watch that really bad.
It was good. So there, at that point in time, I'm pretty sure. I was pretty sure that was Vietnam War,
Yep.
and so at that time there were a lot of journalists there, and part of their job was to go and document the things that were happening in the war in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And so they were a lot of them were photographers. So I'm assuming that was kind of the same thing.
So I thought of one. So have you ever heard of Dorothea Lange?
Nope.
No.
Have you heard of the migrant mother photo?
Is it this?
Nope, but that's also a really iconic picture,
Yeah,
and I've
this
forgotten
is-
the name of the photographer.
It's the photo
job.
that I just showed her was titled Afghan Girl.
Yeah, the photographer that took that's famous, and his name escapes me.
Yes, Steve McCurry.
Yes.
Ah, Steve.
Yes.
So-
Yeah,
Yes.
he did a lot of stuff for National Geographic. But
It's a pretty popular photo. I think most people would recognize it. So is that a good example of photojournalism?
That, for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then
you're documenting like events and things around the country,
and
right?
so
around
Dorothea
the world.
Dorothea Lange, so she took the migrant mother photo, which
have
is
seen
the
that.
picture of that one mother in the Dust Bowl during the Great Depression, and she's holding her kid, and she's like 30 something years old, and she looks like she's like 60.
I saw this
Depression.
photo.
Depression.
I was at it's a big museum out in LA. It's like on a mountainside.
Oh,
the,
yep.
The Lamac or the Mac or something like that. I forget what it's
I know
called.
what you're talking about.
But there was a giant print of it there.
1936.
Yep. So
It's a good photo.
that photo
Yep.
is like iconic, and basically Dorothea Lange worked for the what's it called? It's like the something farm.
Awesome.
Something. It doesn't make sense, but basically she was tasked by the US government to go out and document these people during the Great Depression. And so not only was she supposed to take photos of them, but then she also would like interview them and jot this all down and then send it all back, and the photos would go places. She also was tasked by the US government to take photographs and interview people and stuff during the Japanese internment camps during World War II.
Okay.
Oh, the
And-
internment camp?
Yeah, the internment camps, yeah.
Wow.
And
Oh.
those photos are incredible. And but what's interesting about those, that cute little part of history that we never like to talk about, there are several of those.
Who would have thought?
But so she took those photos, did her notes, all that stuff, and then shipped them off to the government, and she didn't see them again until like the 1980s or
she
something.
didn't make copies and send them?
Because she was working for the government, so she would take her rolls of film and ship them off,
okay.
and someone would
Yeah, somebody else
develop
developed.
them. And so they basically developed them, put them in archives, and like never let them see the light of day until like the 80s, because it was kind of like a big bad secret. It still
Yeah.
is. Most people don't know about it.
Wow.
So like that's
Jeez.
some intense examples of photojournalism.
So is it, for photojournalism, is it usually like news companies that do it, or is it always just like the government?
Well, so like basically any photo that you see in the newspaper was either taken just by a photographer that's hired to go,
Okay.
and then jot down like who's in the photo or whatever, and then they and like an actual like journalist or whatever comes and like does the actual interviews and stuff. But sometimes you get a 2-for-1, so like that's photojournalism basically. But it's really fun. I really love that class, and
That'd be cool. That'd be a fun job.
yeah.
They
And
just like ship you out and they're like, get pictures of this.
yep,
And you're like documenting history.
The one second, I want to make sure I get this name right, but it's a very famous photo from World War II, and it's the landing on D-Day, and it's all blurry. It's the guy coming out of the water, and it's a very blurry picture. Let me see if I can find it real fast. See if you remember that.
The military photographers kind of made me think of that, where they would suit somebody up and throw them out into the action to get shots.
Crazy to do.
I know.
This picture.
Okay, I've not seen that picture before, but
No, I haven't either.
So
I see why it would be iconic.
see, like it's very blurry. It's very fuzzy. It wasn't actually shot like that. What happened was it was shot, assuming the conditions were like good, like it was a clear photo, right?
Yes. Okay.
And
I got you.
then they rushed it, over to some photo lab to get it developed so they could get it in the newspapers in print, right? And it's on film. And so when they were rushing it, they dried it too fast and they melted the emulsion. So it ran through like the whole strip of film, and so that's why it looks so blurry. But honestly, they
did a bad job.
It's kind of like a happy accident, because it feels like it's almost like you feel the intensity, like you feel the motion of what's going on there.
Yeah, I would have felt that it was more along the lines of like low shutter or something. You know what I mean? That just like a happy mistake,
hastily taken, like barely able to get the shot type of thing.
Yep.
But the real story is they were like, we gotta get this in print, and they melted the emulsion. So can you imagine though if they melted the emulsion so much that they had no photos?
You wouldn't even hear about it, I guess.
Yep.
They would just tuck it away.
And two, that's one of those things where, I mean, if the photographers weren't actually developing their own film, they were sending it off. Like, could you imagine, like, if you make it out, right, of such situations, and then you're like, you messed up my photos?
Right? I would be like, you did what to it? See it in print. It's like, I took that and my settings were definitely not, that's not what that should have been.
Yeah. That was a clear photo. I know it was.
Yeah. It's like you took a picture on your iPhone and it gets backed up, and then you check it later. It's like, wait a second. Why is it all green? what happened? Yeah. You'd be infuriating.
So I have a question, Kat.
Yes.
I'm just curious. So
I hope I can answer your question.
No, I mean, I hope so. There's no wrong answers. I hope you know, and you're not going to hurt my feelings.
Okay.
I was just curious because obviously you put in a lot of time and effort into your craft, right? And you've learned how to shoot film, and obviously you shoot digital as well. Big portrait photographer, like seeing your work, right? Does it ever bother you, or does it ever feel weird when like we work on shoots together and you have to send in edits and then I critique and then we work together?
Sometimes.
Just saying, from somebody that obviously like I am self-taught by all means.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way around it, right? So it's like,
you're a caveman.
I didn't go to school for it. I don't know a lot of the history about how it works. I jumped in and am learning in reverse.
Yeah.
So I was just curious if it ever got to you a little bit, because obviously this is a big part of your life.
Sometimes it's a little weird, but it also just kind of feels like I'm getting critiqued, like at school, like this photo could be better if you maybe did this instead or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it feels like. And sometimes I'm like, no, yeah, you're right. And other times I'm like, I liked it, but okay.
And I know we haven't had any issues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For the most part, it's like, it's been pretty cut and dry with our edits, and there's nothing that's like way out. Like, the one big shoot we did was like all corporate stuff.
Yeah.
So you're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless it's like way off in left field.
Yeah. It's like, why are these all, why is there a vignette? I cannot stand people that put vignettes on all their pictures.
No. Yeah.
I
mean, it can be there for an aesthetic choice. Like if it calls for it, you know what I mean?
You know what's even worse? The inverted vignette. So it's white. My brother and I found a website, some photographer's website, where
that's all they did.
They're like,
you're peering
there were
into
so
heaven.
many vignettes, and then like also the photos were like kind of blurry, and then half the time you couldn't see the people's face. I wish I could remember what this website was, but it was not pretty, and I was like, Alex, we are terrible people, but also they were terrible photos. So the bad thing is that when you get into like stuff like this when you're a kid, then in your head you're like, these were the type of photos I was taking when I was like 13 or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, you know,
which I get.
Like everyone can pick up, you know, whatever at whatever age, right? Because that's the fun thing about trying different things is you can do it at whatever age, and
we should encourage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's kind of like when you have, you know, those child prodigies that can play, you know, everything by like age 4, and you're like, well, might as well not pick up an instrument now because I'll never be as good as that.
Right. Pass on that.
That plagued me until I was like 18. I was like, I shouldn't try to do anything because there's always someone better.
Because I suck.
Yeah. It's like I tried it for the first time. I was bad, so it means I'm terrible. I shouldn't try it.
Yeah.
Such a destructive mindset.
It is. Yes, but it is reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of times I've held myself back feeling the same way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just, I mean, Daniel and I were in the office the other day looking at some pictures and videos that kind of a newer up and coming artist is doing some things, and they've jumped in, spent a lot of money on equipment, which is great and all. But we were just like looking through it, and then halfway through, I kind of just realized we were being somewhat hypercritical.
Yeah.
And it's super easy to do. It was it was right down my alley. So it's like, I understand the process and what the final thing should be. And so, you know, it was tough, but I pulled back at one point, and we were talking about it, and I just said, okay, like,
we're being mean.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't being like that. We weren't being that bad. You know what I mean? But like at the end of the day too, it's like we've all started somewhere.
Yeah.
And you have to respect the process.
Are you guys?
And now a quick break to hear from our sponsors. Passion for Acting Theater Company. Passion for Acting Theater Company has a passion for bringing excellent and entertaining live theater to audiences in Bartholomew County. Passion for Acting Theater Company, created in 2018, performs dinner theater productions at the terrific and eclectic Willow Leaves of Hope on the Square in Hope, Indiana. Their first production, The Miracle Worker, was a huge success and received great reviews from audience members. Since then, Passion for Acting Theater Company has performed 10 shows, ranging from comedies like The Kitchen Witches and The Odd Couple, to drama and suspense like their original murder mystery, Angel Street, to classic children's literature like The Secret Garden and Anne of Green Gables. Their next show will be Kalamazoo, a comedy about what happens when older folks try to get into the online dating scene. Kalamazoo will be performed at Willow Leaves of Hope in February, just in time for a Valentine's Day or to laugh the winter blues away. Enjoy a delicious dinner and a great night of entertainment at Willow Leaves of Hope. Phone number is 812-341-7251. Call now to make reservations for this laugh out loud comedy. Process.
Are you guys aware of the Dunning-Kruger effect?
Here we go again.
have we talked about this?
We've talked about this, yeah.
Do you know what it is?
Go ahead and
it's 10-second summary. When people first start learning something.
1,000.
Oh no! I'm thinking about it too much. Like people start learning something, they think they know everything, and then they realize after they start learning more, the extent of things they don't know.
Yeah.
And so people who know things will start learning something in the beginning, they're overconfident in their abilities.
Yeah.
And then it takes them a little bit to realize that they don't know barely anything about the thing they're going into. Yeah. Which is, you know, it can be, that's a disheartening moment. It's like, oh, I do suck at this.
Yeah. I have never had that problem.
When I was learning manual for the first time,
I struggled so much in the beginning.
Yeah.
See,
I still do.
That was the thing. Like, you know, I was born in 2000, so we had automatic digital cameras by the time I could hold a camera.
Yeah.
Although the first photo I ever took was a Polaroid, so I just really love that analog stuff. But so I feel like I had a natural ability to see a good picture, like a good moment and take it.
Yeah.
But it was figuring out how to use the actual tools of the camera to actually make it a good picture, that was when I was like, actually, I suck at this. Maybe I should because for some reason, like I picked up shooting manual on a film camera so quick. Like that was what was explained to me, and I was like, this is the easiest thing ever. But for some reason, transferring that over to a digital camera was like the hardest thing my brain ever computed. And then finally I was like, okay, you know what? We're just going to treat the ISO like it's film, and it's that number, and it's going to stay there, and we'll change the other things. We'll change the other thing. And then it made sense. But it was getting to that point and, you know, using like aperture priority or whatever, and everything was still like super grainy and painful. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Switching to manual is tough. I mean, I shot for a long time on multiple different cameras, and I remember my first digital camera, and like it was normally just friends and stuff. I mean, I wasn't like shooting to do anything like, you know, artistic. It was just capturing moments.
It was only until like last year where I really understood how digital photography works. And it was only because of like I don't even know what it was really. It's just like trying to understand like what the sensor's actually doing with ISO, and then like understanding like the rest of it's sort of just like with the lens and what that's doing.
But there's so much. There's so much. Like I'm still.
And all the names don't really make sense.
Not at all.
And
because they're transferred over from film.
Correct. Yeah, that's the biggest problem.
Well, and I think that's the other reason why it was so confusing for me to try and figure this out on a digital camera first, because I tried to teach myself manual, and I watched like so many YouTube videos, and I was like, it still doesn't make sense. But then once I learned why the words are what they are and what that is actually doing,
that transfers into
mind explodes.
I was like, oh, it makes sense now. Like I totally had a light bulb moment.
It's tough. It's tough first getting into it. I mean, I just was looking through sensor stuff the other day, trying to understand some of the ways that the sensors work and why they affect different ways, because they were breaking down cameras, and they were talking about ours specifically, the Nikons, and they had used some, I can't even remember now, like some acronyms for the sensors, right? Stuff I had all understood, but there was like a couple letters at the end that they added on that I was like, what does that mean? And our sensors have like they're like backlit. So they have like an extra little bit of like light that they're using in addition to the sensor itself. And certain cameras have them and some of them don't. And then like a new phenomenon is like the stacked sensor. So there's two sensors stacked on top of each other. And you know, because like with the way that a sensor takes a picture, depending upon the type, right? It's line by line. And so if you have two and you compute them at the same time, you can essentially get rid of the rolling shutter effect on, you know, when you're using electronic shutter.
Global shutter then? Or is that sort of...
It's still not at that point because of the way it's still updating itself, but it's the speed of the processors plus the ability to fill in the blanks with a stacked sensor arrangement.
When it does it line by line, that's called progressive, because it's just progressively going from top to bottom. And... Global is like super expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still, global shutter is still very expensive, and it's reserved for some of those more expensive cameras, and especially cinema cameras, because that helps, you know, with your rolling shutter effect.
Yeah, because if you have progressive, if you ever look at a photo or video where it's going left and right really fast, it kind of looks like it's jello.
Yeah.
Where like the top of the frame is like slanted as it goes down. It looks really weird, and it's infuriating to see.
And the problem is like there's like, we talked about it, that this gets so deep, you guys, on technical, you know, specs and abilities of cameras, but like our Nikon shoot in 3 different styles, and there's mechanical shutter, there's electronic shutter, and then there's actually a hybrid between the two of those, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it at the moment. It's something specific.
The hybrid shutter.
I call it hybrid because it's literally the two mixed together. And depending upon which one you're using, depends upon the different effects you get. And we're talking stills here. We're not even going to get into video. But, you know, ceiling fan is a great example of this. So if you go to use like the electronic shutter, then you get that rolling shutter kind of weird warpy effect. But if you use your mechanical, and I think even the hybrid works better, it helps to reduce those effects to get a normal shot. And of course, this also gets you into shutter speed, all those things. And if you use the electronic shutter, you'll get banding.
Jeez, it's a rabbit hole.
But that's the thing. That's why I was looking it up, though, because the new Nikon, the Z9, It is their highest end still shooting camera, mirrorless camera, and I know they cost like $6,000 without a lens, and it has no mechanical shutter.
Wow.
And so I was like, how'd they get away with that? Because at that level, one of the things that you're doing is those are high speed cameras. So, you know, they that level of camera for still shots, they all go up against a lot of the sport shooter cameras, right? So it's like you need high rate of shooting. So you're normally shooting very fast, like fast enough that like your camera sounds like a machine gun.
Yeah.
And, you know, you have to get these things fast and efficiently. And so I was like, we have issues with our electronic shutter. And, you know, when you switch to the mechanical, it helps to fix these issues. But like, there's no like, you know, mechanical shutter to switch to. So I'm like, how do you get rid of banding? How do you get rid of, you know, rolling shutter effects and everything? And
$6,000, but I have something to fix it.
And that's the one with the stack sensors.
Yeah. Okay.
So you get your stack sensors, and then I'm pretty sure that it either has their new processor or it's actual dual processors that are processing the images.
That makes sense. So it's almost like two cameras in one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, but it's speed.
Yeah.
The faster it can process an image, the faster it can write that image, you know, per the sensor and per the processing speed, like that gets you out of the weeds on some of those issues.
It's funny when
it's crazy.
technology gets to that point where it's just like, instead of making something better, it's like, let's just put two of them in there. That's what we did with computers, because
I know.
a processor is actually what we call a core. And like you hear like multi-core processor.
Yeah.
That's not a processor. That's four processors acting like one. And so we just gave up on making good ones.
Yeah.
We were like,
Now
let's
we
just
have
put a crap ton of them
Now we have like
tiny in there.
16 core, 32 core processors.
And so it's like, well, instead of having one camera taking one big picture, we're just having two smaller cameras taking two smaller pictures. That's literally what they're doing.
I get it. It's impressive though.
How do we make it better? What if there was two of them?
It's like, so tell me one more time that you can get a good photo like that on your cell phone. On your cell phone.
Or a cell phone.
Which I know we've talked about this a million times, you guys, and I apologize that it's coming up again.
They're
but
just
because
as
people
good.
just keep saying it.
I know. I was standing in a house taking pictures, and
I know what you're going to say.
on Saturday. I mean, literally, like, when we're recording this, like, this was just a couple days ago.
And he's still traumatized by it.
I am. It's because I didn't say anything. I decided that day I was just going to...
You resigned.
I was like, I don't have the effort or the energy. So I'm standing there taking pictures of this person's house, and they're asking me about what I do, and, you know, because I see the owner when I'm there if they're present, but I work with the agent. Agent is our client, not the homeowner. So you normally get to have very nice, candid conversations because there's no relationship at stake here.
Yeah.
We're just chatting. I'm here for an hour, and I'll probably never see you again. So we're talking, and he pulls out this canvas print, and he's like, you guys should do canvas prints. And I was like, we've talked about doing it. We just don't have a lot of requests for that, you know? And if it were the case, I think it would be kind of cool. But again, it's just not something we offer because nobody asked for it. But he pulls it out and he shows it to me. And it was kind of tough because he's like, you know, my dad passed away last year or whatever. And I'm always awkward about that stuff. So I was just like, you know, I'm sorry to hear that. And so he shows me this picture and he's like, isn't it crazy how much you can blow up a picture from a cell phone? And it's like so amazing. And there's like no dynamicness to the photo. It's very flat. You know, the colors are meh. And I just, you know, especially because it had his dad in it. And I just was like, yes. And so I was like, it is amazing what they can do. And it is true. It is true.
Yeah. You don't want to tell the guy it's a crappy photo.
I was like, well, you know.
Yeah, that's not the move.
Could have done your dad a little bit better if you would have had somebody shoot it with a camera.
It could have been the only photo he had, but like, you know, it's just...
This was my thing, actually. My brother and I were talking about this. We were like, every couple of years should just like have nice photos taken.
Yeah.
So that when you die at your funeral, the blown up print at your funeral was not taken in your living room on a cell phone with
iPhone.
overhead lighting.
Yeah.
Because we saw one and I feel bad, but we were kind of like, this is a terrible photo.
Oh,
And
gosh.
we kind of laughed a little bit. And we
Oh.
were like, we're terrible people.
Yeah.
But here's the
But,
thing,
like,
Kat.
just like every couple of years,
I
just
get
like
it.
get a family picture. It's
I get it.
it's not that hard to do.
I get it. But like devil's advocate, like I get it. People
Yeah.
see these things, they do a decent job, and they're like, you know,
You already paid like $1,000 for the
I can
freaking
save
phone.
I can save myself some
Yeah.
money and I can do this, and they see it as a very utilitarian
Yeah.
option.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And if everybody thought differently about it, we'd be out of a job.
Hey, it's got the megapixels.
Yeah, man, it's got
Yeah.
plenty.
It's got plenty of the megapixels.
You're saying my phone's got 12 and yours has got
Yeah, you
your
just got
camera's got
normal.
24?
You just got normal amounts of pixels. I
Pickles.
got you got you got
I got
pickles.
normal amount of pickles.
I got megapixels back in
I
my garden.
I
They're
have spent
huge.
way too many theater productions just eating pickles. I love sweet pickles.
Oh, okay.
Are they like a quick and easy
No,
snack?
dill pickles only. You people are weird.
I mean,
Like bread and butter pickles? you're talking about?
Stupid.
I don't like bread. They make me want to throw up.
Thank you.
Okay,
Me as well.
this is really funny. So
It's not funny.
it's
a crime.
It's really funny. No,
It's a
so
crime.
I was
It should
gonna
be
play.
outlawed.
I was playing a blind deaf
Pickle lady.
individual. You may have heard of her, Helen Keller. Anyway,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
so there was this scene where I got
Why you say it
served-
like that?
I didn't expect that at all.
Oh, I figured that's exactly where she was going.
There was this scene where I get served this plate of food and I'm supposed to like eat it, you know, not like a feral child because, you know, I've been taught by my teacher now and I'm figuring out how to be a human, right?
How to eat a pickle?
Well, see, here's the thing. It's so random, but it's really funny. So doing this, what I would do is I would pick a spot just like off stage, like in the corner of my vision, and like that's where I would look for that scene, so that it would like I would not look at people.
Yeah.
You know, that's because that's a
if you
dead
made,
giveably
if you
that
made contact
you can
with
actually
anybody,
see.
yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
would
if they're
just
not
I
having
would
a
just
real
be
blind and deaf actor on there.
It's a no for me.
No.
But so I would just be like looking off there, and I had you know the same little meal every single freaking show, and it was like ham and some eggs. And there's another scene where I kind of got eggs shoved down my throat, and I was so sick of scrambled eggs. I still barely eat scrambled eggs. I didn't eat like scrambled eggs for 6 years after we did that because
Oh
I
my
was so
gosh.
sick of them.
Jeez.
But one night, the plate gets brought out to me, and so I can never see what's on it because I'm looking over here, and so I'm just really trusting that everyone's done a good job on this plate of food, right? And one night I smell something and I'm like, oh my gosh, did they put pickles on my plate? And they put pickles on my plate, and I was so happy. I was
Cool.
like, can you please put pickles on my plate for the rest
Oh
of
my
the
gosh.
show?
No more eggs.
No more
I
eggs.
would be pretty
Pickled
Just-
eggs.
Just
scrambled eggs
just-
versus
just the
pickles. I would
pickles.
be excited for the pickles.
Yeah,
I get
so
it.
So I had ham and pickles.
Well, like eggs could get cold, and like
they
those are
did
gross
get
when they're
cold.
cold.
They were so gross.
Yeah,
Oh.
cold
It
egg
was
is
so
gross.
bad.
Pickles is the way to go then.
Yeah, I was so happy about those pickles.
Oh my gosh.
I was so
Oh,
happy.
God.
Now we know.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one more thing for us, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Again, every week we do a Tuesday tip.
Yes.
And I wanted to, we like to touch base on the podcast. That way we can expand on it a little bit. There's not a lot more to say here,
Yeah.
but there were a couple things that didn't make it into the video. We, as well as other people in the creative community, that's nice.
Thank you.
This would be great
Appreciate
for that. So we've found some software that Adobe released recently. It's it's actually in beta, but it's called Speech Enhance, and it is part of a suite of apps that they are making for podcasters. So if you go to podcast.adobe.com, it will show you all the options, all the things that they have available. Straight off the bat, though, you have to have an Adobe account.
Yeah.
Of course.
But the product itself to use as of right now is free, but I'm sure that'll change.
You want to do a voice memo right now so we can demo it in the podcast? So you can record off your iPad audio,
Sure.
and then we can do like
Sure.
an ABC.
We're getting creative.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right on the fly.
Actually, you know what would be fun?
Off the Apple Watch.
Yeah. Hold
Yes.
on a second. I'm pretty sure you can take a voice. Yeah,
Top
you can.
Quality.
Okay. So I'm gonna do a quick test here, and then you can play it for the people.
All right.
I am currently testing voice recording on my Apple Watch. It is probably about, 8 inches, 10 inches away from my face.
Yeah.
So
now we're going to swap to the upgraded version from Adobe. Now we're just going to wait. Yeah, we'll figure this out. We'll do something there. Yeah.
So the cool thing is in the video, we show an example of me talking into the voice memos on my iPhone.
Yeah.
And then we also did it on my MacBook. And that was straight up internal mics. Honestly, the one that I wish we would have used, that we still have, is I did a recording from my AirPods Pro.
Ooh.
And honestly, that was like, nice. Look at you guys.
We're interested. He's flexing his AirPod Pros.
Second gen.
Oh my gosh.
They sounded the worst.
Really?
Out of everything that we tested.
Like after or just out of the gate?
Out of the gate.
Okay.
Ooh, interesting.
It was pretty rough because they're actively trying to take the background noise of things and like kind of mitigate that. So they were kind of weird. But so you take these audio files, you load them into the software, it takes it and processes, and it can depend. It says it can take up to 10 minutes. I don't think any of ours took that long. And we've also uploaded like at least an hour's worth of audio, and it's still processing probably less than 10 minutes. I'm sure it depends on your internet connection, all those things.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it gives you a version of it that is enhanced, but you can click it on and off so you can hear the different versions on their web portal.
Yeah.
And then you can download it, and you just download the enhanced version and you can use it.
Wow.
And it's just using AI to get rid of, echoes and reverb and background noise. And the way that you guys normally hear our podcast, we use pretty high quality mics. We have a room that has soundproofing.
Yeah.
And we could take anything from like our DJI mics, my cell phone. We have a very small deity mic that we put on top of our cameras. It's a little shotgun mic.
We have a great Tuesday tip that actually displays the differences between all of those.
Yes. So you can check that out as well.
Boom.
Nice, David. Look at you.
I have
cross-promoting.
a brain.
What a plug.
So there's a couple different microphones that we can use that need EQ and some work after we're done. So, and like we don't do any post-processing. There's a couple things. There's a compressor and limiter, I think, is what we use on our final production for this.
Yeah, most of it is not touched.
They're just no EQ, none of that stuff, because these mics are fantastic. But it can literally take any of these things, these small microphones, and turn them into sounding like our podcast does. Yeah. It's a beautiful tool. There's a couple caveats. Again, it's in beta and it's AI, and sometimes it tries to fill spots with some weird things, some voices and some words that maybe don't exist either in the English language or in the spoken word that we did. Yep. So it has its odd moments sometimes, and sometimes it pitches differently and it sounds kind of off. So it has its caveats. So this is by no means replacement for professional audio. I think we kind of say something along those lines in the video. Sure. So take that with a grain of salt. Don't get me wrong. 90% of the things that we've put it towards, it's worked on. Yeah. So it's a really cool thing because none of us here are audio engineers by any means. No. We know what good audio sounds like, so a lot of times we can get it there, but it's not our forte at all. So it's a nice helpful tool for us and for you guys as well. Good audio matters, and a lot of times if I have a video that I watch that's the audio is really crap, it's hard for me to watch. So it's like I said, it's free for right now. And I think if you even just made an Adobe account, you could go use it, even if you don't have a subscription to cloud or anything like that. I think you just need an Adobe account, but it's free to do it. As of right now,
it made me to sign in, but I didn't have to pay for anything.
Oh, that's right. So, we tested that. And you don't have a creative...
I don't pay for... Yeah. So
I don't know. It's a cool tool. It's definitely, it's all AI driven, and that's what a lot of this stuff coming out is. And they're going to have a couple other tools that help with podcasters, but I think this could be kind of a new thing that they could bake into their audio software, which is Adobe Audition. Yeah. And they could also bake this into Premiere. Yeah,
just have a little checkbox.
Exactly. Just enhance audio, and then it would go through and fix everything. Because, if it's as good as it is now, after time, and I think we all know that it's free because anything that we send through the algorithm, it's using to train itself.
Yeah.
It's giving it more information to work with.
Which is how all these things work. It's the same way with GPT and all the other things. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty cool, and it takes some of the guesswork out, and it's a little scary to think, for some of the stuff. But at the end of the day, like, we used it for a talk that we recorded, and it got rid of all the background noise. Well, the issue about that was there was Q&A session with the audience, and it got rid of all the audio from the audience.
Oh.
Which, again, it wasn't great audio, but it was something that we needed.
Yeah.
Yep.
To eventually fix some of those spots and we were going to put captions in over that. Mm-hmm. So it's like we still needed the audio.
Yeah.
And we took that and tried to enhance it. And it came out weird.
Yeah.
It sounded really weird. Oh. And again, if it can't quite make out what it's hearing, it puts words in places that or changes people's words.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
Interesting.
guesses weird. It's kind of like you're listening to people in a different room, and your brain's trying to put together what they're saying, and you're not getting it right.
You're filling in the blanks with your thought process.
But it's computer doing that, and that's even weirder.
Yes.
And it makes audio from it. So,
but it's cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, hey, give it a shot. I'm all for videos having better audio. We're starting to just play around with it because we can and apply it to some of our lower end stuff, just because it's like, hey, why not give it a shot? Especially our internal stuff.
Let us know how it sounds. We actually didn't do a little intro for each of them. So here's the original audio from his Apple Watch, and here's the audio enhanced, and here's the audio from the podcast mic to compare.
Sounds crispy.
Wow, yeah, that sounded great.
Yeah. I love
It's super weird to do, but it's going to make sense to you guys because it's going to be fixed in post.
Hey.
There we go.
So
it's cool stuff.
Do us a favor, go watch the video. It's good.
Yes.
We had fun with it, and there's a lot of we're trying to do more this year. I mean, as usual, right? We're trying to do a little bit more, so we played around with some sound design, and I thought the examples were very nice. There's a little switch that comes on the screen and shows you the different
very
types.
Aesthetic.
It's we're trying to help keep everybody engaged, as all content creators are doing, and we're trying to do that in our own way. So graphics and things are popping up, and it's all fun stuff. So
it'll be a lot more than what you just heard, because I think it's it's more like consumerish. You can share it with people.
What's the thing, Kat? What am I supposed to tell people at the end that I don't?
To hit the save button so that when you're like, oh, I watched a video on that on Instagram, you can just go in your saves and there it is.
We need to get those saves up.
Yeah, because to be honest with you, so we've been filming those for a while now, and we have a nice little backlog. Like we've made a lot of videos, and we talk about camera tips, we talk about microphones, we talk about other audio stuff, we talk about computers,
how to use your phone.
Yes, a lot of iPhone tips. And whether that's camera centric or just some of the software tips to help your day-to-day access with these things. We have another iPhone one coming next week that I'm pretty pumped on.
Oh boy.
But we've gotten some good feedback. So if you guys haven't seen it, go to our Instagram. I think that's the best place to consume it. And check out our TRIFLIX Tuesday tips. And those are all on our page. Yes, and hit the save button.
Save button.
They're also on YouTube Shorts. And do
you
they go to
our
TikTok?
Qualms with those. Yes, they
and they
do
go on
to
Facebook.
TikTok.
So there's like 4 places you can go see this stuff.
So many places you can find us.
There's no excuse
Literally,
not to check it out.
Everywhere.
Literally not findable. We're everywhere.
Yes.
You'd have to avoid us to not find us.
So that's all I got, guys.
Man.
Yeah.
Kat, thank you for sitting in for Tristan.
Of course.
Definitely enjoyed
talking.
Yes.
Talking such a fun thing.
I enjoy it as well. Yeah. I had fun talking about photography.
Yeah, great.
That's always it's been fun to bounce things off of you, especially with like the film stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's a realm that I don't know anything about. So it's kind of fun.
We should once my darkroom's finally done, we should have some sort of video where it's like Kat teaches everyone how to
that'd be a great
like shoot and develop their own film.
Yes, I would love to do that. Seriously, that would be so much fun.
It would be really fun.
Yeah,
I'd be down for that.
And then if someone's film doesn't turn out, we can just you can go cry in the corner. It happens.
That's okay. That's okay.
That could be a bit where like it starts off with somebody weeping in a corner with like a destroyed film in their
I'd watch
hands.
that.
It's
Yeah.
like, it does like the record scratch. She's like, you're probably wondering how I got here.
Yes.
What
Great
mistakes?
intro. There it is.
Yeah.
But we need a night vision camera.
Okay. Minus putting your film in the tank. Everything else happens in the light.
There
So
you go.
But how much fun would it be to have that one section
Yeah.
of it?
it would
It's
be
like green.
very entertaining.
It'd be good.
Watching everyone just like
What if it like starts out like Cole comes in and he like turns on the lights and he ruins your film? And you're like, no!
We could play that out.
yeah, there's gonna be a lock
Yeah.
on that door.
Also, we're hoping to
sense.
film with an ambulance soon.
Oh,
You got anything else for
yeah.
Kat?
For Cat?
No,
For Kat.
I didn't mean to say that. Do you have anything else, Kat?
I don't think so.
Okay, David,
right.
you good, man?
no, we did it. We
Okay.
made a podcast.
Awesome. Thank you to all the people
Thank
who are listening.
you.
I didn't mean to do that. Thank you for all the people listening and
you.
watching. If you have been listening and haven't been watching, I highly recommend. I mean, we have like a cool little space setup, and it's fun to see everybody's reactions
My
and
hair's
expressions.
green.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I
Uh,
look mildly different from the last time, which was not that long ago.
So mild.
That's okay. We're gonna have a lot of fun this year. As you can tell, we've already switched it up. First episode was with a guest. Go check that one out. That was episode 13 with Sam. No, I
was
think it was 14.
14. Yep.
Yeah, that was with Sam Fouch. It's a great episode. And again, we had Kat today, and Tristan wasn't here. We're gonna have a really fun episode for you next week. So definitely stop back for that. This one that we've been planning for a very long time, and it will have a very small amount of familiar faces. So it's gonna
And
be
we
fun.
finally pulled it together.
Finally,
It took so
finally.
much effort.
It's such a
Yes.
mystery. I don't know what it's
So
going to
you-
be.
you better watch
the
it.
suspense.
If you don't watch it, I will cry, and that would be sad.
Yeah. So go check us out. TRIFLIX Cast. We're everywhere. TRIFLIX LLC. We're everywhere. Go to our website, triflix.com. You can check out our projects. And maybe you're interested in hiring us because maybe we sound like we know what we're doing. We actually just got back
Just
from a
a little
shoot today.
bit.
It was awesome. That footage is going to be posted on our website. So that'll be fun to see the things that we're capable of. So thank
So
you.
capable.
Thank you for watching and listening, and tell a friend. That would be awesome.
Only one.
Only one friend at a time,
But
though.
they
That's
have
all
to,
we can handle.
That friend also has to tell another friend, and they tell another friend.
It's
and
a
it's like a
pyramid scheme.
No, no.
No, and if you don't, we will find you.
That's right.
Have a great week. Thanks, guys.
Or else.